paradise. Woo! Not bad. So you came right in time. You came right. What makes the Jamaica Blue Mountain coffee different?
Well, the taste, the aroma, basically the maturity cycle of the actual coffee. So it actually takes far longer to become mature here, each fruit. So it makes the coffee a lot smoother, a lot sweeter.
Oh, this is beautiful.
It truly is.
How did you learn
So it looks like a fly.
How did you learn all of this?
So we've made it to the top.
The dirt, I went one.
We're on the
On
Blue
the dirt one is this
Mountain
one.
coffee
The one
trail.
with-
And
dirt.
in the distance behind me is pretty much the rest of Jamaica, but because of the Sahara, oh, I can't even see it. Can't even see it. It's pretty foggy.
Right? So these are cured for at least 2 to 3 months, right? And pretty much after curing, you'll take them to the mills, the dry mills, where the husk is then separated from the actual coffee bean itself. But in truth, before anything can be exportable, it must pass through the British standard scales, right? The only standard measurement of coffee in the world. And what it does is to separate the beans. So if any bean comes from here, 20 screens, they're normally not the best qualities, right? So these are classified as giant beans because they normally tend to be an irregular shaped bean. The premium beans will come from here, screens labeled 19 and 18. So these are what you'll get. These are basically called #1 screens, right? And from the #1 screens are where you get #1 beans. But your Blue Mountain coffee is the champagne of coffees, right?
Hey.
So it's basically only within the Champagne region that champagne can be produced. So it's only within here, the Blue Mountains of Jamaica, that these two beans are produced. But if we produce it above 2,000 feet, generally more towards the center of the island, still outside of here, the Blue Mountains of Jamaica, we produce what is the Jamaican High Mountain Supreme. The Blue Mountain range is a microclimate range, right? So the fact is, it never gets too hot, wet, cold, nor dry. All year round, we will experience an equal amount of sunshine, humidity, and rainfall. So the altitude and location also is a factor, and the temperature is always at least 5 to 7 degrees Celsius cooler than anywhere else on the island, right? We even dare to say, well, in the Blue Mountains, it actually gets cold because a very cold day gets to about 12 degrees Celsius. But anything below 20 degrees in Jamaica is absolutely cold, right? So they normally say that when you head to the Blue Mountains, you basically want to walk with a sweater. But the Arabica plant prefers temperatures between 12 to just about 28 degrees Celsius, right? So the Blue Mountain range creates that perfect environment for actually growing the Arabica species of coffee, right? Or day-to-day weather is normally predictable because on a regular day, what you'd find is that sunrise through to about 11:30 a.m. we get the most sunshine, right? And as it approaches midday, the clouds and the mist will tend to cover the mountains, so afternoons are overcast with the chance of rain. At about 3:34 in the afternoon, we typically get a bit more sunshine up until sunset, and generally after 6 p.m. the temperature falls below 20 degrees Celsius, so the average temperatures at night will stay at about 18 degrees Celsius, right? Wow. So we will get basically a regular cloud cover, a mist cover, and also this gentle trade wind, right, which more so acts as a neutralizer. So what it does is to neutralize the morning heat, right, and pretty much slows down the maturity cycle of the Arabica species of coffee. So if you get regular Arabica cherries outside of the Blue Mountains throughout the rest of the world, it takes an average of 5 to 7 months to become red, right? But here in the Blue Mountains, each Arabica cherry takes no less than 9 to 11 months. So that slower maturity cycle enables our coffee to be naturally alkaline rather than being acidic, right?
Alkaline, that's good.
It's naturally only coffee in the world that is naturally alkaline and not acidic, right?
Wow.
Only coffee in the world.
Only coffee in the world that is naturally alkaline and not acidic, right?
Naturally, you don't think
And basically, it also produces higher levels of sugar than any other coffee in the world. In fact, Blue Mountain coffee produces 3 to 5 times higher levels of glucose and sucrose than any other coffee in the world. So it's a naturally sweet coffee. And in fact, doesn't require any milk, sugars, or artificial sweeteners, right? So when we actually process our fruits, we'll do a wash exclusive method, right? We harvest the ripest fruits and separate them in a pool of water. So your good fruits will sink while your bad fruits will float. So the bad fruits are damaged, right? They're damaged by the coffee's main predator, the coffee berry borer, or other animals, insects, or diseases. Those are normally removed and burned. Nowadays, nothing at all is wasted, right? Because within any cherry at all, there are normally 2 beans inside, right? But in that bad fruit, it's still 2 beans, but it may only be a single bean that is actually damaged. So what is done is they're separated and extracted separately. Nowadays, persons actually dry these, the pulp, and use it to make tea, right? They even take it a bit further. Not necessarily, so it's called, I think it's called cascara. Yeah, and basically, it is also goes through a bit more processing where they make coffee flour, right? But what we're basically interested in are the beans themselves in Jamaica, and because these beans are covered in sugar, you want to prevent it from fermenting, so they're washed and placed outdoors on a concrete surface, which dries for about 10 to 12 days, right? So these are basically what we call the wet parchments, right? And your wet parchments, as I said, you take them outdoors on a concrete surface or a barbecue where they dry for about 10 to 12 days. For it to be classified as Blue Mountain, it must be grown within the actual Blue Mountain range, right? And it must be between 2,000 but no higher than 5,800 feet above sea level.
You need to smell that.
I know! That smells so good.
So I said that because